Okay, what's up guys? So in this video I'm going to do the boot. I'm gonna start the sculpting, and I use something called Magic Sculpt, and basically I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna do the first part of the boot for Storm. So what I use is Magic Sculpt, like I said, and it's right here. This is what it's called, and that's what it looks like. It's a two-part resin, I think that's what it's called. It looks like that. One part is like gray white, and the other part is like a greenish tint. I'm almost out of it. This stuff lasts forever. I've had it for like 2 or 3 years, and it's great stuff. I've never used milliput for sculpting or anything like that, so I don't know if that's better, but I've managed to learn how to use it really well. I'm going to show you the tricks. So first of all, the tools that you need are sculpting tools like this, or anything that's like metal with a flat surface. I use this. This is really good. This is a dentist tool. You can use sculpting tools like this if you want, and hobby knife is always good. And this I bought at Pearl like 20 years ago, so this is really good. And you need something to roll the the clay with, so I used a marker. Now I gotta explain something. You can to have better control of the clay or the resin. I use two things. I use oil. You can use any type of oil, but what I use is mineral oil and water. So these two things give a lot of control over the clay. So right now I'm gonna use a plastic sheet to roll the clay on and make a flat sheet. And then I'm gonna take that flat sheet and roll it around Storm's leg right here. I think this is called the chin, right? And then I'll just keep sculpting it. I'm gonna use a lot of water to smooth it out. Now, the reason why I use a lot of water to smooth it out is because, for number one, I hate sanding. I freaking hate it. So I try to avoid sanding as much as possible. So what I do is, you see how smooth it is? And it has the wrinkles for the boots, where the boot bends. I did that all with just water, smoothing it out with my fingers and some tools. And the wrinkles I did with, oops, I hope I didn't mess it up there. I did the wrinkles with just any kind of sharp tool and just pressing on it. And then, or this tool, or this. So you'll see what I use. I don't want to spend too much time explaining. But another trick I use is blending. So a really important tool in sculpting is a brush, a soft brush. And what you do is you sculpt and you blend. Now you blend with the water and you blend, and then you sculpt and you blend. And that's how you get a really nice sculpt. So that's what I'm gonna be doing right now. Hopefully I won't damage this one, because I just did this like a few minutes ago. And it takes like 40 minutes to get hard. And it takes like a whole day for it to get solid hard. So even after 40 minutes, it's kind of flexible. So it has its stages. So basically that's what I'm gonna be doing, and hopefully you'll be able to see it well on this camera. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. All right, so I'm gonna be using this in case I need it. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so here are the two compounds. I'm gonna mix them together. I'm not gonna talk a lot while I'm working, because I have to concentrate on the piece. So should take me like 20 minutes, maybe 15, if everything goes well. And the next video I'm gonna be doing the last part of the boot, which is the top part, where you do like an extrusion. I use a clay gun, and it has various little things that you put it on it, and it makes these really perfect symmetrical strings. And yeah, so basically this is what it looks like when you mix it. Now to roll it on the piece of plastic, I put some mineral oil on the plastic so it won't stick. And now I'm gonna use some mineral oil on the roller, which is my awesome Sharpie marker, because for some reason I don't have a roller. Never bothered to get one, which is kind of ridiculous since I used to sculpt a lot. All right, so here we go. Let me see if I can point this there. Okay. Maybe you can see more of it there. I'm gonna use a blade. That's gonna be the top of the boot. That's why it's gonna be perfectly cut there. Okay, so now comes the hard part. Trying to get it perfectly aligned. Sometimes it's kind of hard. That looks just about right, actually. Maybe a little lower. Okay. So that looks better. What's up, Michael? That's my dog growling for some reason. So now I'm using the water. I just dipped my finger in it. Magic Sculpt is the strongest resin that I've ever, strongest clay I've ever used. Meaning that after it gets strong, after it's dry, man, that stuff is really, really, really strong. I mean, it's super strong. So if you want to sculpt a figure in Magic Sculpt, that would be the way to go, because if you do it in Super Sculpty, it's gonna mess up, it's gonna break. Super Sculpty is really good for sculpting. See that? All right, so I'll try to do that. So just try to smooth it out, get it really smooth into the leg. Let's see. Oh, man. Oh, I forgot to put on my good glasses. All right, so let's see, let's try to get this. So the trick is I only have like a few, like 20 or 30 minutes of sculpting time because it's a resin and it gets hard. After that, it's not really good for sculpting anymore. It's still kind of soft, but the trick is time. That's why Super Sculpting is so much better. You have all the time you want and then you just put it in the oven. But the bad side is that it's soft, it's brittle, so break really easily. So if you're making a freaking action figure, it's not the best material for it. I mean, milliput I never use, so you guys probably can tell me if milliput is better. But like I said, this stuff is really cool because you can almost skip the sanding phase just by using water. Also the oil and the brush is a must when you're doing sculpting. So you gotta learn, it's not really learning how to use it, but knowing that you need to use it. So once you use a brush, you could do some really nice work. So when I do the video on making her belt and the sockets where the belt goes in from the pants and all that, I'll be using the brush and the oil, the mineral oil. You can use Mazola oil, cooking oil, any kind of oil. What it does, it helps, like let's say you want to put a very tiny piece of clay on another piece of clay. When you put it on, it won't stick. It just won't stick. It's if you put water, it will probably help you stick. But if you use oil, you put a little bit of oil on and then you put the clay on it, it'll stick. So it helps a lot while you're working. Like when you're working with really small objects, like the buckles of a belt or something of that nature. I have a little problem here, but I'll try to fix it. Here, it's a little uneven. So I've seen people use this stuff for their cosplay. Now I don't know if it's really good for cosplay because this stuff, when you use it in bulk, it's really heavy. See that? See, because of its nature of being so hard, like almost like stone. It's a really heavy substance. So I wouldn't recommend. I don't know. I don't think that's good for cosplay, but I think it's really good for action figures. Like let's say you want to make a part of a joint, you could actually make it out of this stuff and Dremel it, and it'll be strong as you can imagine. It's really strong. You have a really hard time trying to break it. So there's a little minor imperfection here. So that's where the sanding comes in, and just trying to see if it looks even. It looks kind of even. Now I don't have to worry about being too perfect because since she's gonna be all black, gloss black and flat black, you won't see these tiny little imperfections. So that's cool. Wherever the clay ends and the plastic starts, you have to smooth it out so you'll save your yourself, you know, tons of sanding time. So just use your fingers, just like I'm using right now, and just smooth everything out. Then comes the wrinkles. Okay, let's use the brush. it's just about right. It's a little high, I think, so I'm gonna try to push it a little higher. Also, if you want to sculpt perfectly symmetrical stuff, I suggest you get a clay gun. And don't get a cheap one, get a one that's really good, like the one that costs like $20 or $25, depending where you get it from. Don't get the really cheap ones because it'll just make your life much harder. So, but the clay gun really helps to make your figure look very professional. So, all right, so I'm gonna try to do the wrinkles. Now I wonder if milliput is better, you know, I just don't know. I never used it. I've been wanting to buy some and try it out. There's this new thing I just found out about, and it's this thing that helps you make copies of accessories. It's like this little clay. It's a blue clay. I forgot the name of it. I think it's called blue stuff. And you buy it and you just heat it up and you put, let's say, a gun in it, and you can make the mold of the gun really easy. And then all you have to do is use something like this, like Magic Sculpt, to put in the clay in there, and you pop out a brand new gun, so you can make copies of a lot of stuff. And the cool thing is you can reuse the blue stuff. Like once you don't want to use the mold anymore, you just heat it up and it reshapes into whatever shape you want. It's really freaking awesome. I mean, I think it's essential for customizing. All right, so now I'm gonna do the wrinkles for the boots. So I'm gonna be quiet now. I'm just gonna work on it. Okay. There's too much clay here, so I'm gonna have to take some out and then smooth it out again. Oops. Yeah. Oh, estás haciendo un video, man. Okay, so still trying to smooth out. The ankles were too thick, so I'm still trying to smooth out the clay. So we still have time for the wrinkles, because it takes like 30 minutes to get hard, or 40 minutes I think. But you do start losing sculpting ability when you hit a certain point. This tool is really good for also this one's really good. And take your brush and you start blending, and then you do it over again, and then you blend again, and that's how you get really nice detail on the wrinkles. You just go over the wrinkles again, over and again, and over again until they start looking like real wrinkles. And then since her boots are gonna be gloss black, that thing is gonna look real, dudes. It's gonna look real. So it's gonna be pretty awesome. Blending again. And that's how you do the gloves too, on our hands. You just blend. You know, you use the cutting tool, and then you use the blending tool, cutting tool, the blending tool, until it looks really nice. Now they're sculpting everything in ZBrush, man. So I don't know if I should learn ZBrush. I mean, I don't know, man. But I hear that people who make toys, they use ZBrush. So I kind of want to get into making toys, but the thing is, it's kind of complicated because it's like an industry where you don't know who really is making the toys, and you don't know what their pay is like. You don't know what their hours are like. It's like a mystery. I spoke to some people in the I spoke to somebody who worked at Hasbro, and that person didn't know. He gave me some answer that kind of makes sense. It's they outsource their sculpting. So basically what that means is that when they need an action figure made, they go to some other company who has sculptors, and then that company sculpts the figures, I guess, or the statues. See, but the thing is, I think they shouldn't outsource their work. I mean, I think they should have their own employees, and their own employees should do the toy sculpting, right? I think the only reason why they're outsourcing is because they're being economical. Like they don't want to waste money. They don't want to pay the artist what the work is worth. So they go to some company, they'll do it really cheap, you know? And then that's not good for the artist, you know? That's not good for the people who love doing this, because then that means they're not gonna get paid what they should, you know? So it's not a good thing. Then I spoke to a lady who actually is a toy designer, and she teaches in a school, and she didn't know either how much they get paid. So that's really freaking alarming, man. Because if you want to fucking be a toy sculptor and you can't get a straight answer from people in the toy industry, that's alarming. So I'm just letting you guys know that, I don't know, maybe someone out there knows, but I sure don't know. So those are the wrinkles. Maybe you can see them here better because this is dry. And now I gotta wait for it to dry, and it's done. Do some fun touch-ups. So that's how you do her boots. And then tomorrow I'm gonna show you how to do the final part of the boots. And then you basically won't have to do any sanding. The worst case scenario, you just have to do one thin sheet of sand. It's called wet sanding, but that only is to make the boot really smooth, so when you put on the gloss it looks super nice. It looks flawless. So yeah, that's how you do this. And this is just one tutorial, and there'll be some other tutorials on making the belt with the extrusion gun, the clay gun, and the detail on the belt will be there, and the pants. So that'll be the next video. And my battery's running low, so I better go. And all right, guys. Talk to you later.